The story of the Good Samaritan is found in Luke 10:25. On one occasion, an expert in the law stood up to test Jesus. "Teacher," he asked, "what must I do to inherit eternal life?" Something you gotta understand is that this is an expert in the law. So he knows the law front to back, all few hundred of them. So he thinks he's about to trick Jesus into doing something stupid and claiming something that is against the law. But Jesus responds, "What is written in the law?" He replied. "How do you read it?" So he answers the question with a question. He answered, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your strength, and with all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself." "You have answered correctly," Jesus replied. "Do this, and you will live." So it's probably shocking to the lawmaker. He comes to Jesus to try and stump him, to try and trick him. But instead, Jesus asks him a question, and he says, "Yep, you got it right. That's it." So the expert in the law wanted to justify himself. So he asked Jesus, "And who is my neighbor?" In reply, Jesus said, "A man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho when he was attacked by robbers. They stripped him of his clothes, beat him, and went away, leaving him half dead." This road that they're talking about is a 17-mile stretch that climbs 36 feet. So this man that we're talking about is going down a super popular road that people use all the time that is notoriously dangerous and basically a hike at that point. So it's not surprising that this happened. A priest happened to be going down the same road, and when he saw the man, he passed by on the other side. So usually people would look at this and be like, "Oh, okay, the priest is coming down the road. He's going to do something. This priest, he's a man of God, he teaches other people. He's supposed to be our leader, right? He's supposed to be the one that everyone bases their actions off of, that is a leader on earth, But he passed by on the other side of the road, is what it said. But this isn't that weird of a thing to do. I'm sure 90% of people that are watching this video have done this before. I know I've done it. You'll be walking on one side of the road, and then you'll be about to pass somebody, and you just go to the other side of the road. Whether or not that person was in danger, you thought something may happen that you would be uncomfortable with. Or maybe you're in a sketchy area of town, and when somebody starts walking by your car, you lock the door. That is a strict judgment on somebody that you don't even know. Or maybe when you're driving in a car or walking, you'll see a homeless man or a homeless woman, and you think, "Oh, that's so sad, but I don't have any money to give them," or "I'll pray for them," or "Well, I'm too scared to get close to them because I don't want them to attack me or something." These are all just excuses, and this isn't a shameful thing. I do it too. It's not something that I'm pointing and attacking you with. It's something that 90% of people do. In fact, I'll see a homeless man on the road. I'll have the time to help him out, and I'll still drive by him. And I'll think in my head, it's just too scary, or I just feel bad for them. And it's not my first thought to help him out. Then I feel bad afterwards because I think, well, it's not what I should have done. But it's all excuses. We shouldn't be living like this. So, down comes another person. Jesus says, "So too, a Levite, when he came to the place and saw him, passed by on the other side." And Levites were the worship leaders. So you'd think, oh, maybe these people are compassionate. Nope. Jesus continues in verse 33. "But a Samaritan, as he traveled, came where the man was, and when he saw him, he took pity on him. He went to him and bandaged his wounds, pouring on oil and wine." Now, I'm going to pause right there. Most people, when they hear the word Samaritan in this day and age, they think of this story. Exactly. They think of this story because it's such a popular story now, and Samaritans weren't known for much else. But at the time, the Jews, which is who Jesus is preaching to right now, hated these people. They were the enemy of the Jews for racial and religious reasons. The Jews tried to keep their cultural heritage at the time by making sure that they didn't intermarry with, other countries and stuff. And the Samaritans did not do that. They intermarried with the Assyrian invaders and lost their cultural heritage. So in the Jews' eyes, they were like half-breeds and unworthy of being, friends with the Jews. Some Jews even prayed at the time that they would not be remembered in the resurrection with the Jews. I don't know about you, but that's pure hatred. Imagine going to God and praying to him and thinking, "God, please don't save this person. Please don't give this person salvation. Please don't allow this person to accept your gift and be with us in heaven." Imagine that. That is pure hatred. So the Jews hated the Samaritans. So as Jesus is telling this, the Jews are probably thinking, a Samaritan? Samaritans aren't good. But all the Jews passed by and the Samaritans didn't. But a Samaritan, as he traveled, came where the man was, and when he saw him, he took pity on him. He went to him and bandaged his wounds, pouring on oil and wine. Then he put the man on his own donkey, brought him to an inn, and took care of him. The next day he took out 2 denarii, which is basically 2 days' worth of wage, and gave them to the innkeeper. Look after him, he said, and when I return, I will reimburse you for any extra expenses. So not only is he giving him 2 days' worth of wage, which is, if you don't work a job, that's a lot of money that could be going to you or other things. That's 2 days of work. Imagine working 2 days and you get nothing for it. He gave it to the innkeeper, and he said that he will reimburse him for any extra expenses. So more than 2 days' worth of wages. Then Jesus says, which of these 3 do you think was a neighbor to the man who fell into the hands of robbers? The expert in the law replied, the one who had mercy on him. Jesus told him, go and do likewise. So, the Samaritan is the true neighbor of that man. But in the same way, we are like the man who was beaten on the side of the road. At one point, you were spiritually dead entirely, almost like the man on the road. In the same way, you needed mercy and help. While we were in need of help and begging and dying, someone came down that road. Jesus. Jesus was an outsider, just like the Samaritan. Jesus came after others failed, just like the Samaritan. Jesus came with everything necessary for help, just like the Samaritan. Jesus met us with the greatest care possible, just like the Samaritan. Jesus provided for our future and continues to provide for our future with earth necessities and in heaven. And just like the Samaritan, Jesus will return. Jesus said, now you go and do likewise. Jesus loved you like the Samaritan. Now love like Jesus. In 1 John 4:19, it says, we love because he loved us first. So when we love, we don't do it for ourselves, but we do it because he loved us first. He did the most sacrificial, loving thing that he could have done for us. So we must do the same for others. And I'm not saying to do this out of your own strength. Lean on Jesus through your love, not on your own understanding. It is the fruits of what he did for us that is transforming you to do good for others. Your love for God is shown through how you love others. It is a part of the greatest command of Jesus. Everyone is your neighbor. So that doesn't mean to be selective with who you love. And I know you can't do everything, but you sure can do something. If you can't do it all, that shouldn't mean that you shouldn't do anything. Many people say, but I can't do as much as what would be needed. You can do part of it. That shouldn't mean that you should sit back and say, well, it's not my situation at all then. It shouldn't be easy for you to walk away from people in need. Jesus never walked away from you, and you were actively against him at one point. God bless.